Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Haddam Elementary School. My name is Brian Krashke, and I'm the principal here. Excuse me, I'm a little tied up. I need some movement. I need to move around a little bit. I want to thank everyone for coming today. Before we begin, a couple thank yous. First, Miss Keating, who came in to play the bagpipes as you entered. We want to thank her. As well as the HES Veterans Day Committee, who worked very hard to put this event together. And a special thank you to Mrs. Kuitt for connecting us with the veterans of Haddam and Higginham and making sure that we have a great event as well. So thank you to her. I believe today we have over 20 veterans here with us, so there aren't enough words to express our sincere gratitude for all that you have done to make our country the best in the world. I would like to share a story with you, but I need a little help. Where is Anna? I saw Anna come in. Anna Bolduc, where are you? Come stand up here with me for a second. When I started here in July, there was this box next to my office door, and it was a little box, and I saw it when I was here as the intern, and I was like, oh, I always wondered what was in there, and I never looked in there, and I just didn't know. And when I actually had the opportunity to open it, and I was quite curious to find out that it was a flag that was flown over an airfield in Afghanistan during 2012, during Operation Enduring Freedom. And that flag was flown over by Anna's uncle, Sergeant John F. Bolduc. And it means so much to us that we are now proudly displaying it as one of the first things you enter Haddam Elementary School. So we thank him and we thank Anna. So since this is my first Veterans Day Assembly, I want to mention a few of my family members who happen to be veterans as well. My grandfather earned a Purple Heart in Germany during World War II. My father served on an icebreaker in the Arctic Circle for the Navy. And my sister-in-law, she had the opportunity to serve in Iraq for a year. Excuse me, sorry. She was a bright star who loved the Army. She loved our country. So, on behalf of all of us at Haddam Elementary School, we would like to thank all of our veterans out there who have seen, who have heard, who have witnessed, who have lost, who have saved, have fought for our freedoms. Thank you. Thank you so much for all that you have done. Now, if you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which is going to be led by our kindergarten students. We will now have a moment of silence. Thank you, kindergarten class. You may have a seat. Now we'd like to turn it over to our third graders. Please stand. Standing. They will be leading us in the Star Spangled Banner, so if you wish to stand, I am so sorry. First time, that's what happens, so I apologize. The Star Spangled Banner. So now we will have Mrs. Levitt's class with the folding of the American flag.
Our class is going to read what each fold of flag means to the armed forces in the United States of America. There are 13 folds. Our flag is folded correctly. The first fold is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of belief and eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of our veterans.
The fourth fold represents trusting and turning to God in times of peace as well as in times of war. The fifth fold is for our country. The sixth fold is for the Pledge of Allegiance that we say in school every day.
The seventh fold is for our armed forces that protected our country and our flag against enemies. The eighth fold is for the ones who have died fighting for our country. The ninth fold is for all the mothers of our soldiers. The 10th fold is for all the fathers of our soldiers. The 11th fold is to show respect for the Jewish people of our country. The 12th fold represents an emblem of fraternity. The 13th fold, or when a flag is completely folded, shows the stars and reminds us of our nation's motto, "In God We Trust," which is written on every dollar bill.
After the flag has been completely folded, the triangle looks like the soldier's hat and reminds us of those who served under General George Washington. Folding and caring for the flag is important. It shows respect for all the armed forces who have protected and do protect our rights, privileges, and freedoms, and show respect for our country.
Great job. Well done, Mrs. Levitt's class. Thank you. So unfortunately, our second grade students are on a field trip this morning, but with technology and everything that we have, we will actually be singing a song with our first and second grade students. Our second grade students will actually be on video. And if we can have our first grade students please stand. And they will be singing, "Oh, I Love America."
Oh,
Okay, now we will have a reading from some fourth grade students, and they will be reading America's White Table.
America's White Table is a book written by Margaret Raven. The story helps explain a tradition started soon after the Vietnam War to honor and remember POWs and MIAs. It was just a little white table, but it brought tears of pride to my Uncle John's eyes. The Veterans Day he came for dinner and stood by it, except for one person, even though no one would eat at it.
But earlier that day, Mama had told Gretchen, Samantha, and me that the little table we were setting for Veterans Day was just like the ones that are stood across America in the dining halls of the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force since the Vietnam War ended.
It was just a little white table.
The tables honor the men and women who serve in America's armed forces, especially those missing in action, or MIAs, and those held prisoner of war, or POWs.
But it felt as big as America when we helped Mama put each item on it as she told us why it was so important. We used a small table, girls, she explained first, to show one soldier's lonely battle against man. We cover it with a white cloth to honor a soldier's pure heart when he answers his country's call to duty.
We place a lemon slice and grains of salt on a plate to show captive soldiers' bitter fate and the tears of families waiting for loved ones to return. She continued, we pushed an empty chair to the table for the missing soldiers who are not there.
We lay back napkin for the sorrow of captivity, and we turn over glass for the meal that won't be eaten, she said. We place a white candle for peace, and finally a rose in a vase tied with a red ribbon for hope that all our missing will return someday. Mama finished speaking just as sunlight spilled on the table and filled the overturned glass.
It was just a little white table. But suddenly it made me want to burst with a feeling I couldn't explain when Mama told us how much our setting the white table would mean to Uncle John that night. Then she told us something we didn't know. Our Uncle John, who gave us bear hugs and spun us with airplane twirls and called me his Katie girl, was a POW in Vietnam before we were born.
But it gave us the courage to ask Mama what happened to Uncle John in Vietnam. She quietly told us the story. When Uncle John served in Vietnam, he was sent on a rescue mission and his helicopter was shot down behind enemy lines. She began. And he and his 3 crew members were taken prisoner. One crew member named Mike had serious wounds from the crash, but Uncle John and the other men tried to help Mike get better and persuaded a guard to bring Mike medicine. Then one day when a guard looked away, Uncle John and the others had a chance to escape, but Mike was still too sick to go, so Uncle John stayed behind because he wouldn't leave a fellow soldier so far from home.
But how did Uncle John get free, we asked? Sometime later, Uncle John had a chance to escape again. But somehow he was able to take Mike with him, carrying him on his back, collecting just enough rainwater and big leaves to keep them alive until Uncle John found an American infantry unit to help them. But even though Uncle John did everything he could to bring Mike home alive, Mike's wounds were just too serious and he died before the rescue helicopter landed.
I know that Mike was only 20 years old and he dreamed of playing football, but he loved America enough to give his life for his country when duty called. And I know how much Uncle John loves America too. But when he learned, helping Mike, that a soldier risks his life for a fellow soldier because the best of your country lives in every man and woman who would lay down their life for you too.
It was just a little white table.
But it needed words of gratitude like Mama's Thanksgiving meal. So before Uncle John arrived for dinner, Gretchen and
and Samantha and I decided to put 3 gifts of our own on the table to honor our veterans. Gretchen colored pictures of all the objects on the table, and Samantha wrote out the words of My Country 'Tis of Thee as a tribute in song. But I didn't know what I, a 10-year-old girl, could ever put on that table which was as important as each veteran's gift to me.
Just a little white table. But I looked at it all dinner long, and the quiet inside me, I could almost hear the silent soldiers in the empty chair saying, "Remember us, please. We are real people like you and your Uncle John and Mike who left families and friends, homes and dreams of our own to protect your birthright and liberty from disappearing as easy as sunlight from a glass."
It was just a little white table, but it took my words away when I hugged Uncle John goodnight and wanted to thank him for serving our country so bravely. So I just hugged him even harder and told him I loved him. Uncle John hugged me back even harder than I had hugged him.
And that's when I knew what I could put on the table. My promise to put the words from my heart into a little book about America's white table. And in the book, I'd use Gretchen's pictures and Samantha's song and Mama's story about Uncle John and his friend Mike. Because I hoped that everyone who read it would set a white table on Veterans Day too. So the brave Americans the little table honors won't ever feel forgotten by the country they love so much.
On the white table, I traced in the grains of their families' tears what each man and woman who serves America is to me, a hero. And that's when I saw the tears of pride from my Uncle John's eyes.
Thank you, fourth graders. Well done. Now we will have a song by our select chorus, and that will be Thank You, Soldiers.
Thank
Thank you so much, Select Chorus. So right now what we'd like to do is we'd like to have our 4th grade students stand and lead the Armed Forces Medley, and we will have the words up for you to have, and you can sing along with our 4th grade students. Armed Forces Medley. When your song is being sung from our veterans, if you'd like to stand as your song is being sung, you may do that as well. So we join you in doing that. Thank you. Thank you, 4th grade students. To end this portion of the event, we would like, with the help of our library media specialist, Melissa Dorsch, she has put together a veterans slideshow. So we thank everyone for sending in these pictures. It's really breathtaking to look at this presentation. And here is the veterans slideshow.